Hey everyone, thanks for joining. We'll just wait a few moments to let people join. Welcome, thanks for joining. We're just waiting for the room to fill up. It looks like it is. All right, I think we can get started. So welcome to the New Jersey Food Security Initiative's Call for Proposals webinar. I'm Steve Hayward, Communications Manager at FRAC. Before we begin, I'd like to cover a few brief housekeeping items. We expect this webinar to run about 60 minutes. We're recording the presentation and we'll send the recording and slides in a follow-up email to everyone who registered. Closed captioning is available. To turn captions on, click the closed captions button. It says CC on the bottom taskbar of the Zoom platform. We'll have time for questions and answers at the end of the presentation. To ask a question at any time during the webinar, please use the Q&A box. It's also in the bottom taskbar. And our Zoom chat is also enabled, so feel free to introduce yourself and your organization to the group in there. And with that, I'll pass it off to Jackie Bavaro, NJFSI's project manager. Take it away, Jackie.
Thanks so much, Steve. Good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today. Like Steve said, my name is Jackie Bavaro, and I am the New Jersey Food Security Initiatives Program Manager with the Food Research and Action Center team, or FRAC. FRAC is a national anti-hunger advocacy organization working to improve the nutrition, health, and well-being of people struggling against poverty-related hunger in the United States. And today we're really excited to provide more information about this open call for proposals. Joining us today from the FRAC team, we also have Susan, Nomi, and Irene, and I'll let them introduce themselves quickly before we get started.
Hi, everyone. I'm Susan Bodine. I'm a senior program manager with FRAC, and I'll be supporting on this project. I've been in the anti-hunger and food space for more than a decade across different roles and nutrition programs. And I'm so excited to be here with all of you today to talk about this great opportunity for bolstering work in New Jersey. And I'll pass it over to Nomi.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nomi Small. I am FRAC's Network and Events Coordinator. I'm very excited to be here today and to support the NJFSI project, and excited to share with you all more about the call for proposals. And with that, I'll pass it over to Irene.
Hi, everyone. I'm Irene Lewis. I'm a SNAP policy analyst at FRAC and also super excited to support this team. I'm not from New Jersey, but really excited to support the work in New Jersey. So I'll pass it back to Jackie.
Thanks, Irene. Thanks, Susan and Nomi. And before we get started and really dive in, I just wanted to take a moment to thank the members of our advisory committee, our community partners, and our community residents with lived experience of hunger and poverty, whose input and feedback helped to shape this work. I also wanted to quickly thank the Gretchen Swanson Center for Nutrition and MMS Education for their thought partnership and technical assistance. And last but not least, the FRAC team would like to extend a special thank you to the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation for their partnership and support in the creation of the New Jersey Food Security Initiative. We're just so excited to be able to work with you all as we try to reduce hunger across the state of New Jersey. So as you can see here today on the agenda, we'll be providing an overview of the call for proposals, and we will be leaving time at the end for question and answer. And I'll start when we get to that with the questions that you all submitted through the registration portal. So thank you for those of you who submitted questions in advance. Like Steve said, the chat is also open, so do feel free to connect with other partners across the state. And that's enough of that. Let's just get started. Next slide, please. All right, and one more slide. Thanks, Steve. Okay, so the purpose for this call for proposals is to support the implementation of initiatives with strong potential to achieve changes in practices, policy systems, and/or environments that increase food security and improve nutrition to advance health equity across New Jersey, ultimately with impact that can be sustained once grant funding ends. Proposals are expected to align with the New Jersey Food Security Initiative's priorities, help leverage momentum within and across the state, and engage cross-sector partnerships. Partnerships should include meaningful engagement with community-based and grassroots organizations and/or residents with lived experience of hunger, food insecurity, and poverty in New Jersey. Next slides, please. A total of $1 million is available for 4 to 6 one-time awards, and awards will range from $175,000 to $225,000. We anticipate grants beginning in June 2024, and grants will last for 15 months, which is inclusive of an optional 3-month planning period, and we'll talk more about that later on in the webinar. Next slide, please. Eligible applicants must be based in New Jersey and be classified as a 501c3 nonprofit organization, a public or private academic institution or school district, or a state or local government agency. Organizations that are not eligible to apply may serve as a partner in a proposal submitted by an eligible organization, but they may not apply as the lead organization. Overall, funding is available to support community-based organizations and coalitions, state and local government agencies or school districts, and/or universities collaborating at the township, county, regional, or statewide level. Next slide, please. Eligible proposals will focus on one or both of the following New Jersey Food Security Initiative priorities, which includes proposals that streamline state and local benefits, outreach, application, and recertification practices and processes that enhance customer service, increase accountability to residents, and improve community purchasing power, and proposals that enhance equitable implementation and monitoring of current federal, state, or county anti-hunger policies that center equitable food access and food security. Overall, all proposals are expected to engage cross-sector partnerships whose involvement will be critical to the project's success and help leverage momentum within the state of New Jersey. Next slide, please. Applicants are not limited to proposal ideas that are listed in the CFP. So as you can see here on this slide, we do have some project ideas and examples listed on pages 3 and 4 of the call for proposals. And we also encourage all prospective applicants to refer to the Hunger and its Solutions in New Jersey landscape report for additional project ideas. But I just want to clarify for everybody that these project ideas are just ideas and not an exhaustive list of eligible proposal ideas. Applicants are welcome to propose any idea that aligns with one or both of the priorities and have strong potential to achieve changes in practices, policies, systems, or environmental changes that increase food security. Okay, so I'm going to pass things over to Susan, and she's going to walk us through the selection criteria.
Thank you, Jackie. Next slide, please, Steve. All right, so on to the selection criteria. So the review criteria that's listed here on the slide, as well as laid out in the call for proposals, will be used to identify proposals for funding. And successful proposals should be submitted by organizations with substantive experience implementing initiatives that center the needs of residents and that also demonstrate a clear description of the proposal and the needs it seeks to address, alignment with one or both of the NJFSI priorities, and strong potential to increase food security and improve nutrition through sustainable policy, systems, and environmental change. Next slide, please. And additionally, your proposals should prioritize active, meaningful engagement of community-based grassroots organizations and/or residents who have experienced food insecurity, and also cross-sector collaborations with New Jersey organizations whose involvement will be critical to project success. And lastly, in addition to an aligned budget, of course, proposals should identify a clear understanding of the potential challenges, as well as identify realistic ideas for mitigating these challenges. And it should also provide measurable outcomes that can feasibly be accomplished within the grant period, along with plans for sharing progress with impacted residents. And now I'll turn it over to Irene, who will take us through evaluation, monitoring, and reporting.
Thank you, Susan. You go to the next slide. So the Gretchen Swanson Center for Nutrition will be handling evaluating NJFSI as a whole. including looking into the degree in which the initiative achieves the stated goals that Susan and Jackie mentioned. And then we'll also measure and share any learned information related to implementation. Grant project directors and key staff are expected to help inform this evaluation by doing a few things. First, participating in a 1-hour exit interview with the Gretchen Swanson Center for Nutrition to discuss their perspective on NJFSI and the funded project. If applicable, provide any sort of administrative data that is not proprietary, and we'll work together on determining what that looks like in terms of any data sharing agreements. And then if applicable and feasible, work with the Gretchen Swanson Center for Nutrition to help recruit participants to engage in surveys, interviews, focus groups around data collection that the Gretchen Swanson Center will lead. Next slide. So in terms of reporting, grantees will be expected to meet FRAC and NJFSI's requirements for submission of narratives, financial reports, and periodic information needed to support the overall project performance monitoring and management. So this will include an orientation kickoff meeting via Zoom, quarterly check-ins and update meetings with NJFSI and FRAC staff via Zoom, an end of project narrative report, including tracking of project outputs and outcomes, and an end of project expenditure report. And so from there, I'll pass it off to Nomi to talk about how to apply.
Thank you, Irene. Next slide, please, Steve. Proposals must be submitted via the online application. Applications in progress can be saved and completed in multiple sessions. Applications must provide clear and complete answers to the 9 narrative questions and provide info on key staff or partners, a high-level timeline, and detailed budget or budget narrative. 1-page letters of support from key partners are highly encouraged, but not required. Proposals are due on Monday, April 1st, 2024 at 11:59 p.m. Late submissions will not be accepted for any reason. NJFSI anticipates notifying applicants of funding decisions in May 2024, with project start dates anticipated for June 2024. With that, I'm going to pass things back over to Jackie.
Thanks, Nomi. Thanks so much. Okay, so we are going to move over to Q&A, and I think a few of the questions you all submitted, excuse me, in the question and answer box have already been answered. So I'm going to start with the questions you all submitted when you registered. First and foremost, we received a lot of questions around eligibility. Is my specific organization eligible to apply? Can we apply as a coalition? I want to refer everybody to and I'll put the link in the chat for the FAQs. Anybody with questions around eligibility should take a look at the frequently asked questions for numbers 8 through 11. Essentially, yes, your organization is eligible to apply if it meets those 2 eligibility criteria. So based in the state of New Jersey, or is a 501c3 or school, state, academic institution partner. If your organization does not meet that criteria for eligibility, you're able to apply as a partner organization, but not the lead organization. Other commonly asked questions we received are questions around submitting multiple proposals. Most eligible organizations may apply as a lead for one proposal and may serve as a partner for other proposals. Organizations with multiple departments, such as universities, may apply as lead for more than one proposal, but we strongly encourage all potential applicants to consider capacity issues and alignment with this funding opportunity. Because of the number of grants for this proposal is limited, it is highly unlikely that one organization will receive multiple awards, so we strongly encourage those large organizations to coordinate and align their proposals into one, and consider, again, capacity issues to determine whether it makes sense to apply as a lead or to partner with others. For larger institutions with questions about that, take a look at FAQs numbers 10 and 11. And again, we'll throw the FAQ link in the chat if we haven't already. We also received lots and lots of questions around partnerships. Is there an ideal or required minimum number of partners that applicants have to have in their application? Can you be a partner on multiple grants? Questions of that nature. There is not a minimum or maximum required number of partnerships for funding consideration. The ideal number of partners will depend ultimately on the project that you propose, its goals, and the anticipated challenges that you foresee. Regardless of the number of partners, we are interested in supporting projects that foster cross-sector collaboration and coordinate key activities with New Jersey-based organizations or agencies whose involvement would be critical to the project's success. Additionally, all projects should be developed, planned, and/or implemented with community-based partners and organizations and/or residents with lived experience. We also received lots and lots of questions around geographic scope and areas of focus. So are there, for instance, geographic priorities for funding? Will funding be awarded regionally? Were common questions that you all asked. So funding is available to support community-based organizations and coalitions, state and local government agencies or school districts, and universities collaborating at the township, county, region, and statewide level. Funding, hold on one second. Funding for lead organizations, again, partners should be those cross-sector partnerships. We have not allocated specific amounts of funding for each region. While we hope to receive competitive proposals at the different county, state, and regional levels, we don't, for instance, have 50% of the grant funds allocated for North Jersey and 50% allocated for South Jersey or anything like that. And for those of you like me who are born and raised in Monmouth County, if we did do things that way, we would have funding allocated for Central Jersey, but that's not the way we're doing it. We received lots and lots of questions around examples. So can we provide examples of types of projects that we're looking for, examples of opportunities that would be funded? On pages 3 and 4 of the CFP, there are about a page and a half of examples of the types of projects we're looking for. There are also examples in that landscape report that we put in the chat earlier. So do take a look at those examples. But again, I want to remind everybody that those examples are not an exhaustive list of the types of projects that will be funded. You're welcome to propose anything. We're excited about innovative proposals, so please don't feel limited to the ideas or examples that we have provided. We also received lots of questions around the budget. So should community advisors and people with lived experience receive cash or gift honoraria for their time? Yes, so we would anticipate the strongest proposals recognizing the value and contributions of engaging residents with lived experience. Therefore, applicants are encouraged to compensate residents for their time and expertise, whether that's through stipends or other forms of support. It might also be helpful to seek residents' input in determining what that appropriate compensation is in order to avoid compromising their ability to receive any sort of public benefits. And there's additional information about that in the FAQs for FAQ number 16. We also received a few questions around the breakdown or allocation of funds that folks should propose. Again, every proposal is going to be different. Applicants are encouraged to request between the funding award amount, so between that $175,000 and $225,000 range, consistent with permissible use of funding and the needs of your initiative. More information around direct costs and the indirect cost policy can be found in the FAQs under number 23. And we received lots and lots of questions around if funding can be utilized to expand or support existing initiatives. Yes, overall, the New Jersey Food Security Initiative seeks to support and uplift existing work and collaborations across the state. So you can absolutely apply to utilize this funding to enhance or expand something that is already existing or in the works. Let's see. We received some questions asking for clarification under the note in the RFP that says funds may not be used to purchase and or distribute emergency food. So asking for some additional information around that. So overall, proposals should focus on sustainable policy system and environmental changes versus direct services and programs. Successful and sustainable PSE change will advance food security, nutrition, and health equity at the population level. So at that city, county, regional, or statewide level with impact and benefits to the larger communities. Again, examples can be found on those pages 3 and 4 of the CFP. And prospective applicants are also encouraged to refer to the Hunger and its Solution in New Jersey Landscape Report for additional examples. Direct services and programs that this CFP will not fund include food distribution, meal delivery, hyperlocal at the organization level. So for instance, a community garden at a singular site or a singular farmer's market. So anything at that hyperlocal organization level is not what the CFP seeks to fund. And then we received some additional general questions around the 3-month startup period and expectations around that. So grants will last for 15 months. And when you apply, you have the opportunity to note if you want that 15 months to include 3 months for planning. You do not have to utilize the 3 months for planning. So for those of you who are seeking to apply to support existing initiatives, if you're ready to hit the ground running with implementation, this can be a 15-month implementation grant. And you can apply and propose things that align with that within your budget and within your narrative. If you want to utilize the 3 months for planning, that's also absolutely allowable. And there's really additional instructions around that in the CFP and in the FAQs. The planning period is optional and proposals will not be scored or not scored based on whether or not they choose to utilize that 3-month planning period. It will not impact your score whether you select yes or no for that. Applicants requesting the optional planning period should describe their plans and assumptions to the best of their ability and identify what they expect to accomplish during that planning period. But again, choosing to utilize or not utilize the planning period will not impact the score that you receive. And let's see, what else? I think those were the commonly asked questions, and I'm just going to go to the Q&A real quick and see what new questions have come in. Okay. Okay, so yes, the lead organization applying can request the full funding amount of $225,000. So yes, you can request to apply for any amount up to $225,000. Okay, if an organization's headquarters are not in New Jersey, but the organization has a New Jersey dedicated office space and staff, is the organization eligible to apply? So the organization would have to be completely based in New Jersey. So they would not be eligible to apply as the lead organization, but they would be eligible to apply as a partner organization. Did we say that food delivery is not allowable? Correct. Food delivery, food distribution, using these dollars for food purchasing is not an allowable cost of this RFP. Funding should be utilized for policy systems and environmental change initiatives versus direct programming and direct service. Okay. What are the regulations about populations served? For example, if our organization serves humanitarian migrants, can our project only serve our existing clients, or do we need to create a project that is open to all New Jersey residents? Great question. So again, proposals should support that community level impact. If the specific community you are focusing on is limited to that population, as long as your proposal aligns with the priorities in the CFP and is able to offer that substantive policy systems and environmental change versus direct service to that, let's say, migrant population, it would still be an eligible application that you'd be welcome to submit. Food pantries are eligible to apply for this grant, but again, they could not apply to use the dollars for the purchase of food to distribute directly to clients. Were there any weights for project targeting EPA designated food deserts? I'm not entirely sure I understand that question. Looking at food deserts is definitely something that is aligned with the priorities. So if your proposal is looking at a specific food desert community, including that in your application and your justification of why the geographic area you're looking at is an area of need would definitely support and align with this proposal. So I hope that answers your question, and if not, please feel free to ask additional questions. Okay. Yes, there's a question about if funds can be used for consultant costs. Yes, consultant costs are allowable under this grant, as is staff time and staff costs. Another question about food delivery. Are outreach services, wellness, and safety checks allowed? So again, the call for proposals is really seeking to support projects that support at the community level. So either at that township level, state or regional level, versus at your local organization levels, really looking to create policy systems and environmental changes. So making sure that your proposal aligns with those criterias versus funding for staff time to conduct outreach services at that hyper local level would make your proposals more competitive. Okay. Okay. What about putting food pantry into a school? So looking at different community and environmental partnerships or environmental changes where we're actually changing the school landscape to put in a food pantry. So doing that on like the very local level where it's one site might not be as competitive in this process. If that was something done at a larger partnership level at the township or county level, something like that would be competitive in this proposal process. Okay. Examples of sustainability. So when we talk about sustainability, we're really looking to see projects that are putting significant and substantive change into place at the systems or community level, so that once those changes are enacted, community members continue to benefit from that impact even after the grant ends. So for example, looking at policy changes that once enacted continue to improve the health and advance the nutrition of communities, even when the, let's say, funding is no longer there to support a individual staff member's time. Okay. And I don't think I'm seeing any new questions. For pantries, again, looking to support choice pantries. Choice pantry models are definitely an amazing model. So looking at how updating pantries to incorporate choice models across partnerships could definitely be competitive in this process. Correct. Food could not be used to purchase food for pantries. Okay. I'm not seeing any new questions. I think we have a little bit of time left. And what we're going to do is actually just do a quick resource review of all the materials and support links that are posted on the New Jersey food site, and just walk everybody through where they can find the link to the FAQ questions. And for FAQs that we received today during the webinar, we'll update those and put those onto the FAQ, and we'll update that document regularly as we receive new questions. Okay. Steve, is the best way for me to do that to share my screen?
Either way is fine. If you've got it quick in hand, I would have to get into it.
I got it. Give me
Okay.
1 second, everybody. Thanks for your patience. Okay, is my screen showing? Can you all see the New Jersey website? Okay, great.
Yeah.
So for those of you who haven't had a chance yet to take a look at the New Jersey Food Security Initiative's website, we definitely recommend you take a look at the site. It's a great place to learn more about the priorities of NJFSI overall, and really be sure that what you're looking to propose aligns with what the initiative's overall goals are. There's lots to explore on our vision, and I know I referenced the Landscape of Hunger report quite a few times. It's linked right here on our website where you can download the full report. You can also access the New Jersey Food Security Initiative's fact sheet, which is just a really helpful one-pager on the initiative and further explains the overall goals of the project. For all things related to this call for proposals, navigate on over to the calls for proposals tab. Here's where the direct link is to the application portal. Once you register and create the portal, you can log in and begin to work on your application. You'll be able to see what those 9 questions are. You don't have to answer the first question to be able to see the second question type of thing. And you can start, save, and go back to it at any time. So it doesn't need to all be completed in one shot. Here you can download the full call for proposals. So definitely recommend downloading that and combing through it fully. And then down here, if you scroll down, you can link to the FAQs. The FAQs are really, really helpful. We developed them based on the questions we received from community partners and with the support of our community advisory board. So definitely take a look at those FAQs, especially if you have specific eligibility questions about your organization. They really dive into the details of eligibility a little bit more fully, as well as some of the questions you all asked around budget, applying as a lead versus as a partner, and questions around geographic scope. And on this page, we will also here link the slides from today and the recording from today, if it's something that you ever need to refer back to. Frac team, did I miss anything on the website overview? Okay. All right, let me come out of that. And I think we have some new questions in the Q&A. Would Healthy Pantry Initiative work be given consideration? Yes, so if it's at that community or population level versus at that hyper local level specific to one pantry, it could be competitive in this application. Okay. Could we describe what is meant by environmental changes? Yes, so policy system and environmental changes, we're really looking at changes to the food environment. So that can be creative and innovative partnerships between food retail locations and community-based organizations, or even referral partnerships between hospital or healthcare organizations and food retailers. So we've received some questions around eligibility of like food RX and veggie RX programs, things like that. Would a research study potentially be competitive? Proposals under this call for proposals should really be for project implementation versus assessment and research of best practices. So likely no. We're really looking to support implementation of projects that look to offer solutions to hunger and food insecurity challenges across our state. Great questions. Guys are keeping me on my toes. And I have been able to check in on the back end. It looks like quite a few partners and organizations across New Jersey have already been able to access the application portal. If at any point you have any questions, we'll also throw our contact information in the chat if you have a technical issue or if you just have a specific question to your organization. You can absolutely reach out. The FRAC team will continue to update that FAQ document. So do check back every now and then on the website. Anytime we update the FAQ, new questions will just be at the bottom with their answers. All right. Well, I'm not seeing any new questions. We'll keep it open for a few more minutes. But I will just again reiterate our thanks to all of our community partners, our partners at Gretchen Swanson and MMS, as well as the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, especially our program officer, Marco, for all of his support with the project. And again, first and foremost, our community residents with lived experience whose input has really helped us to shape the CFP. As you guys comb through the call for proposals and additional materials, if you think of new questions that you didn't get a chance to ask today, please feel free to reach out. We will make the slides available from today as well as the recording. They'll both be posted to the call for proposals website, hopefully by the end of the week. And again, we're happy to share out the slides and that recording. And thank you all so much for joining. We're really excited to see what you all propose. We're very excited to get these dollars out the door and support New Jersey in moving forward some innovative projects. We know that our New Jersey partners have everything they need to make some successful things happen. So thanks everybody for joining.